Firstly, because there's so many products out there, and the common question I get from clients and patients is, well, this powder is going to be much cheaper. Are you saying that as soon as it could be organic? I mean, I've been on the internet and there's spirulina sort of manufacturers here, but as soon as you make it a powder, you have to heat it. Now that destroys what exactly?
Well, it doesn't, not necessarily, because the process we go through, which is why we're so well known for having high quality, is we create powder first and then we press it into the tablet form. But we don't use high heat when we create the powder. We shoot it up into the air without the high heat. It's the high heat that is deactivated the superoxide dismutase. So you can make powder without high heat, but 99% of companies don't because I only started this company. I wasn't planning on starting a company. I don't know if I told you my story. I just wanted to help my sister recover from breast cancer. Her oncologist told her to change her diet to an alkaline diet. I helped her research what that was, which was a plant-based diet, which led me to algae, the most alkaline food in the world. So, and I thought I could just help more people with algae. But I started the company just to help my sister. So I didn't start this company and we don't sell anything else except algae. Most other companies who are selling spirulina or chlorella tablets, they're big companies. I won't name any brands, but they could have anywhere from 50 to 500 other products. And so they're profit driven, nothing wrong with being profit driven. However, they put profits ahead of people. And so they want to sell as much as they can, as fast as they can. And one of the ways they do that without spirulina and chlorella algae is they use high heat to dry it so it dries faster so they can get to market faster. And when you mix powders, these green powders that have multiple ingredients, you pretty much always have to use high heat to blend it. It's just the way it is. There may be some exceptions. I'm not aware of any myself, but there could be exceptions. So I don't want to, say everybody is like that, but the vast majority are. And when you apply high heat to anything, so high heat is over 114 Fahrenheit. That's when enzymes are deactivated. So as soon as
But
you do that,
Catherine, yeah,
you
how's the
deactivate.
consumer going to know? I mean, this is,
I know.
you go onto the internet now, you see different prices. I mean, I've just had a look at one of the big suppliers here in Africa, and for a whole bag of powder, it's like 300 Rand, which is probably about, $15, for a month. I mean, the person's like confused, then it's got a big organic sort of name there. So now it's organic. So now, and it's free of mold, but it's difficult for the person to know
It
whether
is.
if firstly the quality of the product. Has your product been, have you seen changes in deep sleep using your product, or
Oh,
maybe
oh
heart
yes.
rate
Well, we've
variability? So people can say, okay, well, let me try this now. Let me try Energy Bits, then I'm going to try this other organic product, and then my deep sleep improves or my heart rate variability improves.
Yes. Well, we've done two of our own small clinical trials because we wanted to know for sure, what is making ours work so well. We get so many, like literally thousands of testimonials. Customers just write us in to tell us how, their cancer markers dropped or their Alzheimer's, their dementia, was gone within 24 hours. It's never ending. Or the kids, this is great for autism or kids on the spectrum or ADHD because it has so much powerful superoxide dismutase that's working on your brain. But we did two small clinical trials, and I'll just give you a quick summary. One was about a year ago. We worked with a nonprofit group here in America called Gray Team, grayteam.org. Their goal is to stop the suicide rate of military veterans, which is a heartbreaking 35 to 50%. It's just crazy. So they were trying just about everything. So we did a small trial with a small group of their veterans who had been discharged for over 10 years, but who still had post-traumatic stress disorder and were having difficulty sleeping and just couldn't, their brain wasn't functioning. So we did a brain scan before we did the trial to get a baseline. And it showed all of them, the brain was blue, it's a blue color, so it shows there's no activity. So it's massive inflammation. And then we gave the participants one pouch of spirulina, 30 tablets a day. They were told not to change anything else, don't change their diet, their routine. We hooked them up to what's called a WAVI machine, which measures their heart rate variability and a bunch of other things. And then 30 days later, we did another brain scan. And in the 30 days, and if we'd done it in 7 days, we would have probably seen the same results. The brain activity had all come back. All the colors were there. One gentleman had multiple sclerosis, his tremors went away. One person's HRV increased 50%, which is unbelievable. So even within 30 days, it was a small group of people, but we found massive brain improvement from just the 30 tablets. So that was one example. Then I guess that was 2 years ago. Then last year we did another small trial. And this one was with people over the age of 50. Again, small group, half women, half men. And we worked with a company called MeScreen. You can get these tests online. It's mescreen.com. So what do? They have a simple blood test that tests the functionality and the optimal state of your mitochondria. So with this small group, we gave them a MeScreen blood test that you just mail it in. They had their team at the University of Southern California was the lab and the team analyzing all the data. And Hemal Patel was overseeing the study for us. He's Dr. Joe Dispenza's main researcher, just so you know. We had a really great group of people working on it. So we did the blood test. Then we gave them the spirulina for a week, did another MeScreen blood test, sent the results in. Within those 7 days alone, the results showed that the mitochondria health had increased, the ATP production had increased, the capacity to produce additional ATP had increased, the reactive oxygen species, which are free radicals, had decreased. There were a number of markers just within 7 days, and Dr. Patel said the only time he had seen anything even similarly as positive as what our study had shown was when he had worked with a large group the previous year on intermittent fasting. And after 90 days of intermittent fasting, he had found some of the improvements of the ATP as had been indicated in our study. Only some of ours was better. So after 7 days of taking spirulina, the results were better than 90 days of intermittent fasting. And you may be wondering, well, what does intermittent fasting do for the mitochondria? Well, your mitochondria, as I mentioned, they generate all the cellular energy for you. And a byproduct are these free radicals. And I want to get back to this new science that I've discovered. Now, if you don't have superoxide dismutase getting rid of those free radicals, they stay in the cell and they damage the mitochondria, which reduces the amount of oxygen, which makes them acidic, which then makes them more susceptible to disease, and they're not performing optimally. So your mitochondria, decrease in quality of activity. Now, when you are not eating, when you're doing intermittent fasting, you're shrinking your eating window to a short period of time. So that means there's a large period of time when there isn't food coming in for your mitochondria to convert to ATP. So what does that do? It gives them a break. It gives them a little bit of a rest so they can clean up. It's like, when you have a teenager and they're constantly going out and, hanging out with their friends and they're going to sports, and they come back and they throw their clothes in the room, and there's more clothes and more clothes and more clothes. Soon you can't see the floor, you can't see the bed. It's because they're so busy. Finally, mom puts her foot down and says, you clean up your room today or you're grounded. So in your mitochondria, when you aren't bombarding them with all that food to digest, it's like the kid being told, okay, clean up your room. The mitochondria go, oh, I finally have a break. I can get rid of some of these free radicals. I can repair my cell membrane. I can restore the oxygen levels so it's not as damaging, and get optimal performance again. So that process is called autophagy. Autophagy is the cleaning up of your mitochondria, like the cleaning up of the teenager's room with all those clothes. And also during when you go through intermittent fasting, there's another level of cleanup, which is even beyond the cleanup. It's called apoptosis, which is programmed cellular death. Now you might think sometimes, oh, cellular death, I don't want my cells to die. Yes, you do. Because it's sort of like when someone's worked 50 years at a company and they put in a great career, but they're now getting older and it's time to retire. So what they do is they give all of their knowledge and all of their projects to the new generation so they can continue on with the great work. And that process is called apoptosis, where the cell divides itself into multiple other smaller cells without any inflammation, without any damage, so the work can continue and you have new neurogenesis of your mitochondria. So that's the way you want programmed cell death. And if that process does not occur, what happens is the mitochondria get so full of free radicals because of this great damage, and I'm going to show you an illustration of what that looks like. Eventually, they explode. And all of those free radicals and all that garbage that should have been cleaned out but never was spreads to the rest of the cells. It spreads to the rest of the mitochondria, and this is why things like cancer spread so quickly, because cancer cells can't go through this apoptosis because they don't know they're sick. And this is why cancer spreads so quickly. So this autophagy that you get from intermittent fasting, or apoptosis, which you also get from intermittent fasting, you also get from algae. So it's not just the superoxide dismutase that protects the mitochondria. You get all these other benefits, the cellular cleaning, the cellular triggering of apoptosis. So it's 1 + 1 = 10. And I haven't even told you the new science that will convince you even further. It certainly convinced me how crazy this superoxide dismutase is and how essential it is for our health. Listen, Mother Nature is so clever. Our bodies are such a unique, refined piece of machinery. There's nothing more perfect than our bodies. If we didn't need superoxide dismutase, it wouldn't be in our bodies from the moment we're born as it is. The sad, unfortunate situation is it slows down and stops being produced for us by the age of 40, because we are programmed biologically to prepare for death after the age of 30. It's just the way it is. So we desperately need this superoxide dismutase, because guess what? We're living to 60, 70, 80, 90 without that golf umbrella. You're getting drenched. Your mitochondria are getting drenched in free radicals. This is what's causing brain damage. This is what's causing brain fog, heart disease. It's all proven in science. We just need the world to know that you can get superoxide dismutase in spirulina if it's unheated